Hi, I'm Bill Attardi, and this is learnerslive.com. Hopefully, it's a place where you can learn something you may not know. We've been working hard all year, and as you can see by this slide, we started posting YouTube as well as Learning Live posts on different learning sessions. And I want to thank Tom Farrell, who posted the October session called Leadership Transactional versus Transformational. Okay, Tom, thank you very much for doing that. Tom happens to be the superintendent of schools in Monmouth County here in New Jersey. But we're in November already. Where did 2025 go to? I got to tell you, here we are in November. And the subject is guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing, when you want a high impact ad at very low cost. And that's my friend, the gorilla, okay? And let's talk about this a little bit. First of all, it's also customer centric. Marketing in today's environment needs to be customer centric, no question. It's the focus really on all marketing activities, and we stress that pretty much in every one of our sessions, because when you pay attention and focus in on customer value, customer benefits, customer needs, you have a very good chance of success in dealing with your customer base. As far as this subject is concerned, we got to start with the marketing mix. And I think some of you remember the 4 P's in marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. Well, that was years ago, many years ago. We now teach the now marketing mix, and that's not just the 4 P's, but the 4 C's. And let me explain that. Product today is anything the customer wants, any solution to a pain point that the customer has. That's the product. That's the service. That's an idea that maybe the customer is looking to buy. That's what the product is today. It's consumer solution. Price is the cost to satisfy. Place is the convenience to buy. You know, people just don't shop in stores anymore. With the internet and the success of the Amazons and the eBays and the Alibabas, you can do shopping in your pajamas at 2 o'clock in the morning, okay? So place has changed, and that C on place is the convenience. But the subject for this particular session is all about promotion or communications. That's the C for promotion, communications. And communications is still the way you need to communicate to your customer. This is a good chart to highlight the change that has taken place in the marketing mix in today's environment. Again, the subject here is promotion, or the communications element of the marketing mix. And the communications segment has 5 different elements to it: advertising, sales promotion, personal selling, public relations, and this is the 5th one, direct and digital marketing. So my intention here is to bring everything up to date. And this is as close to what we're doing now as far as communicating to our customer. And direct and digital marketing can be database, direct response, active marketing, social media, of course, and any alternative type of marketing. And that's where the guerrilla comes into play. The guerrilla is an alternative means of communicating to your customer. So this whole session is all about effective communications to your customer, and every marketing executive has the obligation to do that effectively. Let's talk about the communications mix. Here's the way we communicate. Basically, the primary ways: personal selling, which is sales; direct, that's a direct way to communicate; advertising, indirect, paid communications; public relations is publicity, press releases; indirect; sales promotion, direct; incentive to buy. You go to a grocery store, you got displays, you got price off. Sales promotion, a very effective way to communicate and sell your product to the consumer. And then, of course, there's the direct marketing, the electronic, the internet, the social media, the online type of communications that we're gravitating to more and more. And as far as control is concerned, I think it's important to point out that you have high control over your advertising and sales promotion and personal selling, but then it diminishes as you get into social media and public relations and certainly word of mouth. It can go anywhere. But let's talk about guerrilla marketing, okay? What is it? Let me explain what it is first and then give you some good examples as to what it is and how maybe you can take advantage of this particular alternative to effective marketing communications. It's a very creative way to communicate to your customer. And it was developed by J. Conrad Levinson many years ago. And you'll see what some of the examples on how it's being used today. It's a direct result with unique low-cost approaches. It's the surprise element. It's getting people where they just don't expect it. It involves interacting with the consumer. You know, most of your advertising, you don't interact with the consumer. If it's a TV ad or an ad in a newspaper or magazine, you don't know who's reading it and there's no interaction. But in today's environment with social media and with some of the things that are going on, you have an opportunity to interact with the consumer at the highest level ever before. You can focus on a region or a specific area. Guerrilla advertising creates excitement and in many cases, appreciation for the creativity that you apply to the guerrilla ad. The goal is to generate buzz, to go viral. And you know, if you go viral, you can get your particular guerrilla ad exposed to millions and millions of people. It's really targeting customers' emotions. It's an emotional approach to advertising. Types of guerrilla marketing. Important to point out, there's 5 different ways of guerrilla marketing. Ambient marketing, ambush marketing, experiential, viral or buzz, and street marketing. Okay, those are the 5 different types of guerrilla marketing. And again, it's all about where you least expect it, where an ad is just not expected by the consumer, and it will have the most impact when it is creative and able to take that consumer by surprise. Let me give you an example. You're familiar with this, the baggage turnstile in every airport in the country. You know where it is, you've been there, done that. People standing around waiting for their luggage to come. And sometimes it could take hours. I've been there, done that, so have you. So how can you get creative? How can you put a guerrilla ad in an environment like that? You can see right here, there's one ad, but nobody's watching that ad. So how can you get people to think about it for 10 seconds? I just want you to think about, use your own creativity. How can you, here you have people standing around waiting for luggage, not doing anything. A perfect opportunity to communicate to the people waiting. Well, how about this? How about that? A Vegas casino guerrilla ad. You create that turnstile into a roulette wheel. And maybe you can bet the guy next to you when your luggage comes out what number it's going to be on, okay? You can have some fun with that. Or maybe something like this, promoting a movie. I don't know how many remember when Mount Vesuvius exploded, but it destroyed Pompeii. And they made a movie. So here's a way to promote the movie in the baggage claim at the airport. Or if you have a resort and casino in Biloxi, Mississippi, maybe this is a way you can promote your particular location. What we're seeing today, and especially in places where people are roaming around, people are waiting lists are very good places for guerrilla ads. LED, we're in the lighting business, right? LED, luminous vinyl flooring. You're going to see more and more of this in airports, in train stations, in bus stops where people gather and people have to wait for whatever service that they're looking for. In Atlantic City on the boardwalk, a lot of people walk on the boardwalk, and McDonald's is taking advantage of that with this particular Guerrilla ad. We all travel. We all are in cars many hours of the day. And this is a very good place. The street guerrilla marketing is very effective. And Red Bull is taking advantage of that with their vehicle. Here's one that just blew my mind. It's a tow truck. Think about a tow truck. I got to tell you, if I needed some towing done, I think I'd give Lincoln a shot. I would. This is as creative as it can get. Maybe it's a little obnoxious, but it's a creative ad, guerrilla ad, and applause to Lincoln for doing that. One of the things you see on the road are 18-wheelers, and you see some very mundane ads on 18-wheelers. But when you think about it, an 18-wheeler is a billboard. You can put very creative guerrilla ads on your 18-wheelers, as you see in this picture. And billboards are absolute perfect places, and low income, low cost, high impact, self-driving billboard that shows the dangers of accidents. You want a cold one. You're ready to sit down after work and have a nice cold beer. And here's a nice guerrilla ad before you go in. Very refreshing. You can't wait to sit down and order one. And if you order a beer, you might as well order a pizza. And again, billboards can be very creative, very effective. And this one particularly says, manja. You can also, when you get in an elevator, that's a time when you're captive in an elevator. There's no place to go. You got to wait till you get to your floor. This is an outdoor elevator, and it's a little scary. Maybe some people won't get into this particular elevator, but the floor is open, but you can put your ad on it as well. Here's the Freedom Tower in New York City, One World Observatory. And again, it's the floor. You can see the street from the floor, and there's an ad there. I'm thinking about it. Okay, what do you think? Anyway, these are the reasons for using guerrilla marketing. Okay, to find new ways to communicate with customers in a dramatic, creative way, and the key word is interact with customers emotionally and almost directly. You build relationships. You can create a buzz and actually go viral. And you know things that go viral, you touch and you have direct interaction with millions and millions of customers if it can go viral. Brand loyalty above the clutter and the noise. You know there's a lot of noise out there. A good guerrilla ad can break through that noise and people will talk about it. It really impacts the touch points in our life, where we play, where we live, where we work. Those are the important areas where we can communicate with our customer. It's to make advertising accessible to consumers where they do not expect it. That's the key. And as you know, it's a changing world. The world isn't connected more and more. We've got 8 billion people in this world. 7 billion have cell phones. So we're interconnecting with the world more and more through the digital age, online, mobile, social media, real-time marketing and engagement. Never happened before. You got to take advantage of all of that. Big data, artificial intelligence gives us deep understanding of our customer. Deep understanding. You know now almost to the customer what their needs and values are. And all of this leads to what I call a sustainable competitive advantage. It's not just a competitive advantage. Sustainable means it's a competitive advantage that is not easily duplicated by your competitors. That's a very strong competitive advantage. And it brings brand loyalty, and in some cases, it brings brand advocacy. When you have your customers talking about your company and your product in a favorable way, that's called brand advocacy. And that's where guerrilla marketing can come into play. If they see a very creative guerrilla ad, they can associate that with you. They can be talking about the positive impact and effectiveness of that ad on you, and brand advocacy can take place, and that's very powerful. I do have to give some warning though, okay? There is, with all of this, you need to be careful. The biggest risk is that customers get the wrong message, okay? Important. You got to think this through. You got to be creative, but you got to also be reasonable as to what you're doing. It can backfire if it's misunderstood or if it's offensive. So again, you have to be careful. Harder to control outcomes, especially if it goes viral for the wrong reason. And then you've got laws. You've got local laws, public space laws, rules. You don't want to create any legal issues. Those are the things that you have to be careful about. They're very, very minor, but still, when you put a guerrilla ad together, think about those things. Before I close, are there any questions? As to AI, with every one of these sessions, I like to go to AI, and in this case, I asked AI, what's the most effective guerrilla marketing? When can we use guerrilla marketing, and when is it most effective? And they came back with this: most effective when it is clever, surprising, and well executed. It's most effective for businesses with small budgets. If you're a small business or a startup company, you can compete with the big guys when you do an effective, creative guerrilla ad. It's most effective when it generates viral potential and buzz. It's effective when it increases brand awareness and recall. It's most effective when it targets specific audiences. And it's most effective when it disrupts and markets when it disrupts a market or challenges the status quo. When it challenges the status quo and gets through all that noise that's out there, that's an effective guerrilla marketing communication to your customer. This last statement, let me read it. Key elements for success include a deep understanding of your customer, impeccable timing, ensuring the campaign is relevant and aligns with your brand's values to create a positive, lasting impression. Now, if you see a beer in this picture, I do, well, we may have a problem. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I'll see you next month.